Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, and in this video I'm going to give you a look at the new Model Y Juniper. This has been revised for 2025 and it's officially the world's best selling car for 2023 and 2024. In this video I'm going to give you a look at the exterior, show you what's changed, get a look on the interior and see what's been updated, and get it out on the road for a test drive to crucially see what has changed and compare it to the previous Model Y. So stay tuned for this video. So let's start up front. You're going to notice this is the new Juniper model because the front end of the car has been completely redesigned. We've got this light bar going across the whole width of the vehicle. Very small little light. A little bit of detail. It looks a little bit like a Cybertruck or a robo-taxi, and to me it's obviously taken inspiration from those vehicles. We do no longer have the Tesla badging up front. It's completely smooth. And interestingly, this is the second car I have had on test recently without any manufacturer's logos on the front of the car. I wonder if it's the beginning of a new trend. We do have this charcoal grey plastic down below, 360 camera, quite a smooth front end because the Teslas of course do not use the ultrasonic parking sensors, they use the cameras. So we've got this really smooth front end here with a real air vent, and you can see that split design here. Now we do have a quite spacious frunk which I'll open up and show you. So with the Tesla app I am able to control things. I can lock the car. I've got it on a random setting when it locks. You can even open things like the charge port, flash the lights, which is quite cool, horn, and open said trunk. Now, touch of a button, that opens up to reveal a rather generous space which you can put things. I've got my camera bag in there today. However, if you wanted to, you do have the capability to put in dog leads, anything wet, and for 2025 they've also included this drain plug here. So you literally can unpull that and it'll drain out. So maybe if you wanted to put ice in here, you could have some juice or things on a hot summer day, or again wash it out if you've got some dog leads. It's nice they've incorporated this little drain plug in here. So for 2025 the new Model Y Juniper gets these 19-inch cross flow covers. They do look quite nice, got charcoal grey and black. They do stand out in comparison to the previous kind of silver one you may have seen on the previous Model Y, and there is an upgrade for a 20-inch wheel, but obviously if you stick with the 19-inch you're going to get the maximum range. And it just so happens Tesla claim with this long range you're going to get about 387 miles with the 19-inch alloy wheels, which is not too bad. The side profile overall hasn't changed too much. Out with the wheel hubcaps you're not going to change too much. You're going to notice I do like the little design detail here on the mirror, and I do like the fact we've got cameras on the side carrying over from the previous Tesla. It gives you the Sentry mode, doing protect your car, whatever it could be. Also turn on when you're indicating. Flush door handles, and overall quite an aerodynamic car that you have seen and got used to. Now as we work our way around the rear of the vehicle, this is where things change. You're going to notice this light bar going across the rear where it says Tesla. Gone is the big T badging or anything like that to say dual motor, things like that. This one is denoted long range here. And if I unlock the car again, you're going to see the light bar. This cascades down across it, spelling out Tesla. I quite like how that's like an indirect light onto this grey bit of trim. A real unique piece of design. Now, the rear compartment of this car is very flexible. You know, with everything folded, you've got over 2,000 litres of boot space. We've got storage under here, which so happens you can keep things like your charging cables or whatever it may be. Even keep the little divider for your boot. And I'll slide that across. It kind of concertinas out. Once it's in place, like so, you can slide that up and then you can fold it like that. So there's quite a useful flexible space inside this boot, and I like the fact again you can keep that bit underneath. Bonus points for that because not every car allows you the flexibility to store that underneath, which is quite good. And then if you did want a little bit more storage, there's a little bit of storage under here as well behind the seats. And for the Model Y Juniper we do have electronically folding seats. Touch of a button on the side here, both seats fold down quite fast and responsive. I'll move this little cargo cover out the way so you're able to see that vast cavernous space. It's almost like a small van, which is pretty impressive for an SUV. The tailgate is electronically closed. Touch that button and it closes down like so. Alright, you join me inside the new Model Y Juniper front cabin. You're going to notice things like gone is the wood, and we now have this fabric material going across the dash and the door. Just like the Model 3 Highland, the Juniper now gets the ambient lighting, which you're able to customise and control through the screen here in the middle. You can literally have it to anything you want, any almost infinite. You can go from like red, green, blue, whatever the person wants, and it's got some preset ones as well. Quite a nice little feature to have. And then overall, the sound quality inside the cabin when you're out on the road is decreased, I believe, by 22%, Tesla claim, thanks to acoustic glass and some change in materials. The UI here, we still have this 15.4-inch touchscreen here, pretty similar to what you've seen on the previous Model Y. Obviously, the UI is constantly getting updated over their updates. And if you have been in a Tesla, things like your lights are all controlled through the touchscreen as well as your wipers. Glove box even down below here, which while we're here, it is lined with the fuzzy stuff. It's not too deep, but at least we do have a small glove box, because you'll notice the dashboard is really cut away to maximise interior passenger space. Now, we do have two wireless phone chargers here. They are lined with the fuzzy stuff, as well as a very deep centre console here. Two cup holders behind this little tray here, and if we lift this up, we even have a kind of velvety lined, fuzzy stuff lined centre console here, which does go underneath this piece of trim. So you do have the option to have it all sleek and tucked away, or you can maximise and use all that storage. Thanks to the glass roof, we do have a nice bit of airy greenhouse effect. We do have quite a small mirror here, which I did think, because the visibility using the mirror is not the best, just due to the window angle being quite short, but visibility is great thanks to the cameras and the mirrors on the side, and because of the greenhouse you are able to place the car quite well. Now, it is worth noting we have indicator stalks, which are nice to see, because the previous Model Y, it is nice to see that Tesla have included indicator stalks for the Juniper, because the Model 3 does have them on the steering wheel. We do have a physical stock here. Like the Model 3 Highland, we do have the gear selector now in the screen. Going as the stock, so you swipe down for reverse, or you swipe forward for drive. When you pop it into reverse, as you can see, you got all the clear cameras for the 360 cameras coming into play there. It's also worth noting we have these little rotary knobs on top of the steering wheel here at the front. They do various functions, so you can go in here and control things like your mirrors or your steering wheel. Literally do that, it goes in and out by adjustment. Or you can use it again to turn up your volume. Same thing on the right hand side, you can do things like your cruise control, change the speed. We do have voice commands, as well as the camera button, flash your lights, and you can scoosh the front screen there, a quick display. So at least some of the functionality is controlled through buttons on the steering wheel there. It took me a moment to get used to, but once you're used to it, you're kind of just used to it, which is quite nice. And as I said, I do like the indicators being on the stock here, comparison to the Model 3. Like having the steering wheel would take a moment to get used to, but this just feels so natural. The gear selector, I don't know, I've been living with this car for a week. I've got quite used to it quite quickly. A couple of times I had to do like a 3-point turn quickly. I know I want to go for a stalk or something. You just need to swipe that up and down. But out with that, it's quite clever and intuitive. You typically have your foot in the brake, and it will know maybe you're backed up against the wall in a space, you're not going to reverse into the wall, so automatically select forward. It is quite clever that way. And it is also worth noting this car does have an oscillating vent feature. So if I do pop myself into the climate controls here for a second, and then we hit this button here on the passenger, the front passenger vent here, the air oscillates left to right like a fan, maybe in your office or at your home. I quite like that feature. Haven't seen that feature really since the Lexus LS 430 about 20 years ago. It's not really a common feature in cars, but the oscillating air vent feature is welcome, and it is new for the Model Y Juniper. Also up front, you're going to notice these seats are perforated. That's because they now have ventilation. Just like the Model 3 Highland, this now has the cooled seats up front, as well as heated seats and heated steering wheel. You can leave them on auto and the car will work it out, or you can control it yourself, and we've got 3-stage heating and cooling. It has been quite nice with today it's 21 degrees, you won't believe it with the rain and the grey clouds, but having the aircon on and the cooled seats is a nice welcome bonus when driving around. In the back of the Model Y, you are able to lift the seats up electronically, either from the boot or by tapping this little button down here. That pops up. As you can see, the front seats move slightly forward to allow that to pivot. I quite like that articulation, it's quite a nice movement. And then we've got an 8-inch screen in the middle here. Overall material quality isn't too bad. They have improved it over the outgoing one. We've got this little fabric trim that we've seen up front, the white panel in here, because this one does have the white interior. It is worth mentioning we do have the electronic door release here, window switch, and if you happen to need it, you can pull this out, and that is your manual release down there if you ever need it in an emergency. you know that is down there to get out the car. You pull that little yellow lever. Alright, you join me in the back of the Model Y. I'm 5'11", plenty of knee room, plenty of headroom thanks to that high profile big glass roof, nice and airy, especially with this light white interior. Got a little map pocket here, like airplane style. Do have seating for free, but if it is two, we do have a cup holder. You can pull that up. Completely flat floor, which means I can even sit in the middle here and it's not too much of a perch. Now there is no sun blind here, so maybe on a really hot sunny day, long distance, you may get a little bit of sunburn or something, potentially, but it's not too bad. And this little screen back here is similar to what we've seen on the Model 3 Highland. 8-inch touchscreen, you can control things like your fan speed, your heated seats, you can play games, connect your apps up, you can even Bluetooth your headsets back there so the rear passengers and the front passengers don't have to clash with the audio. It's quite a unique little feature there, quite like that usability, as well as some USB-C charging. Overall, quite a nice continuation of what we've seen up front. Material quality is nice, we've got the little fabric, the ambient lighting, electronic doors and electronic windows. Even got a little hook here which is handy for hanging shirts or something like that if you're maybe doing some business or a trip. I have used that on the previous Model Y. But yeah, overall not too bad place to be. Give it a little bit of acceleration. 3, 2, 1. Oh! It is a 60 here, but we'll take it to 50. That is quite a fast responsive. Considering this isn't the performance model, that was quite impressive how fast that was. Now when I put the cruise control on, you'll see we do have the ambient lighting changing like a rainbow, just because I have it on that rainbow setting in there. So it's a good opportunity to show you what it's like, just because you can see the ambient lighting going on. I quite like that little feature. And as soon as I take cruise control off, the regen braking does come on quite strong, not even putting the foot on the accelerator. Pulls you down quite fast, so you could get used to one pedal driving without having to touch your brakes or using them if you require. Tesla does offer that capability. Now we'll go around here. 3, 2, 1, and we're off. That's quite fun. A little bit of speed. You can get used to that. I guess once you've done it a couple of times, you just get used to the performance of the car like anything, but it's definitely something fun to show your friends and family, or if you're wanting to make use, taking out of a junction, you can use that little bit of performance that the electric powertrain gives you. So I thought it'd be a good opportunity to talk about a couple of things I don't like about the Tesla Model Y Juniper. Number one is just how everything's controlled through the touchscreen. Yes, we do have buttons up here for your hazards, which if I'm out driving and say somebody pulls out in front of me or whatever, or sorry, if they let me in and I want to thank them, and I have a happen just to push like hazards to say quick thank you, I have to reach up and hit that button there. You do have your gear selector as an option. I don't know if the screen goes out, you have that option at the top of the screen there, but out with that, everything else is controlled through the screen. So if that dies, that makes me a bit nervous. What happens, longevity of this vehicle. Also, not having any heads-up display or anything like that for your speed. Yes, I get used to looking there, but I would just like something, even a heads-up display or just something in front of me here. The rear window, I couldn't get all the way down. It just seems to kind of stop with like a third. So in the rear windows, on the back doors, they kind of stop a third of the way. At the bottom, they're completely flat, so you can't really hang your arm out, which is a bit of a shame. So I just want to say a special thanks to Tesla UK for loaning me this ultra red Model Y Juniper. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you did enjoy this video or are interested in car content, why not consider liking and subscribing to the channel below. Comment your thoughts on the car, and I will see you next video. Ciao.